What's up, guys? How you guys doing? It's Sunday. Hope everybody's doing good. Wait till see how many people we get on today. It's been a while since we've been on a Sunday. I figured I'd go on Sunday. Hope you guys all doing good. We're gonna be talking about e-trucks today, so got a lot to get off. Want to make sure I cover everything. Try to take my time with it. If this is one of your first time on one of my chats, go ahead and stop this music. If this is one of your first time on one of my lives, I'm going to be covering this kind of lengthy. I'm going to try to stay on the subject, but there's a few sections that I'm going to be talking about. I appreciate that's everybody that's already joined us. Ryan, he's got a comment already on the EV trucks. Definitely, we're going to be talking about EV trucks. What's up from New York? Got the chat right in my face. Let me see if I can swap this over to the other side here. Right on the fly. See if that fixes that. So we're going to be talking about e-trucks. I want to talk about this today. Hope everybody's doing well out of New York. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the electrical grid. I know you guys know that we're here in Texas, or we're here based out of Texas, and of course, the electrical grid is going to be the first thing I'm going to bring up. You know, we had a tough time during the frozen time, and we really lost power. You know, what's up, Nick? Let me try to stay on subject with everybody. All the comments coming in. I'm pretty excited today, guys. So I'm trying to make sure we stay on subject. Really excited. It's been a while since I've been on. Shout out to everybody that's come out and visit us at the shop. If you guys caught me this morning, we went live. We're almost at our new location. We've already moved virtually on Google. So be sure to give us a call before you come and visit us. We are pending a couple more. We should be in a few more weeks in that building, just wrapping up a few things. So I just want to give you guys an update on that this morning if you tuned in. And also, we've been adding on to the team. Very excited about that. Adding on to the team, the people in the back shop. And we're very excited about being able to process you guys in and out faster. So I'm a single man owner operator, kind of worried about the future of my business. Okay, let's get down to it, man. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to this power grid. Okay, we talked about Texas and how Texas. So we all know that e-trucks are, of course, electronic trucks. Now, what is gonna charge these trucks? What is gonna charge these trucks is gonna be charging stations. Now, our current electrical grid, this is not nothing new. Our current electrical grid is not built to be able to charge trucks up fast enough to get them moving. Okay, that's one thing. So we talk about infrastructure and we talk about building an electrical grid. Now, we already hear talks about electrical grids being upgraded and whatnot. But when you talk about how an electrical grid is going to be built, and what the logistics are and how you're going to get from point A to point B. Those are a lot of things and a lot of cooperation and a lot of planning that has to go in together and work together to make that type of stuff happen. And I really just am not too confident in what our leaders have going so far when it comes to cooperation and building infrastructure. They're going to try to go with different ways into having e-trucks be more useful. For now, with the infrastructure not being in place, if you don't even see enough e-cars out there, and not only that, when we do start rebuilding our power system, and we start rebuilding it, they're going to use diesel engines to rebuild to rebuild all the infrastructure, to run all the material across the United States, because I mean everything is going to have to get redone. So now what my concerns are, even if they do go off and rebuild this infrastructure, is that the communication is not in place with the supply chain where they can honestly build a structured infrastructure, something that's very infrastructured, but you're going to have your main power. Say, for example, you have some very vital areas in the United States that require a lot of transportation, okay? I would focus on building that power system around that. So now that may be coming up. So, but you don't see it. You don't see it happening. You don't see it happening. What I mean by the cooperation that it's going to take to be able to have all this happen. Okay, when we're talking about that right there, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, okay. other things that I wanted to discuss, and we're going to get to all the comments. All the truck stops, pilots, TAs would be charging. That's another MU. That's another item that I was going to cover, but I didn't want to get too much off subject. I try to keep everything that I wanted to talk to about today's viewing. Shout out to everybody that's on today. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. I know some guys are probably busy, but you can probably catch this later. So we're still talking about infrastructure, okay? Now, you talk about Amazon already, voting in to help with this infrastructure, and they're doing this. And I understand Amazon's point of view. They want to do this because they're going to have to build more warehouses. And you see it already happening, because for e-trucks to actually work, we have already talked about infrastructure and the challenges that's going to take, and that's going to be a long time for that to be able to pan out and work its way out. And even once that's rolled out, say for example we have infrastructure rolled out in the next 10 years, hopefully, if you have a power infrastructure out. Okay, so now you have cars. Okay, so cars aren't even being used as much as they actually should be. And you look at larger areas like Texas, I don't see Teslas around. You see Teslas kind of like around the city areas where people don't really travel that much. But anywhere in Texas, you got to drive a long way. So everybody's mostly driving gasoline still, combustion engines. And what I'm getting to is when we start seeing more of e-cars take over, okay, now we can have a conversation about e-trucks actually taking over diesel engines, okay? But we're not even close to that, okay? We're not even close to that yet. So we don't see enough cars being charged here at local residential homes. Okay, so say we get charging stations built out. Oh, they're going to build charging stations at every truck stop. They're going to build charging stations at every rest stop. Okay, if you guys are watching this and you're not a truck driver, let me ask you this: what's going to happen with hours of service? That's going to be something that's going to be. Hours of service is something that drivers are already fighting with right now. If you guys aren't a truck driver, hours of service is how many hours you can actually drive a day. Now, trying to work through your hours of service, scheduling your appointments, your deliveries, getting your truck serviced, meeting all these appointments, and still getting fuel. Okay, now we're going to start trying to factor in charging trucks. No, trucks are going to take over the industry. Okay, now we're going to factor in charging trucks. Okay, now the flexibility of fuel is just so versatile right now. You can go, okay, even right now if you go into a truck stop, guys, and a lot of guys can probably agree, it takes too long to get fuel, okay? And we're just pumping fuel into a tank. Okay, I saw some guy said, okay, Ryan, appreciate that comment. I got all the other comments here. We're going to go back to the comment screen. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. If you haven't hit that like button, make sure to hit that like button. Only got 8 likes on right now. Got 20 people watching, only 8 likes. And so we're talking about the hours of service, and we're talking about how much it already takes to go into a truck stop and get fuel. And you're already taking, 2 or 3 hours to go in here, and now we're supposed to charge our trucks. And Ryan, I want to get to your statement here, or your chat here, your comment about once they do battery swaps. If you ever look at the specs, now look at the specs on these e-trucks. If you look at the specs on these e-trucks, half of the truck is damn near a battery. Half of the truck. Now I haven't even got to the amount of waste that is going to happen when we start bringing e-trucks on board. Okay, so we talk about the waste that's going to be produced and the waste that we're going to have to import here in the United States to be able to produce this type of massive battery. Now, okay, so say for example we do get e-trucks going, or a region gets e-trucks going, and those trucks, those batteries get expired. There's already, I don't even see us disposing regular batteries correctly. I don't see that. I see AA's getting thrown away. Recycling, since the pandemic started, some cities stop picking up recycling. It's all in one, and I'm not sure if that's common in most cities. And I know some cities don't even offer recycling. So Okay, there's this. I'm glad I did this subject today because e-trucks is not something. I'll talk to some guys that were from up north, and they were not in our industry, in a separate industry, and they were asking, they were kind of just asking me some questions about the industry, and they asked me, what do you think about e-trucks? What do you think about what e-trucks are going to do? And the guys didn't even know. They had their opinion. Okay, they had their opinion right away. E-trucks are going to replace diesel engines. Okay, and so I understand logistics. I understand trucking. I understand repairs. I understand pretty much the whole aspect about trucking. So when I asked them, well, what about hours of service? How are they going to work around hours of service if everybody's going to have e-trucks? What do you mean hours of service? I mean, we don't. Somebody that's not a truck driver doesn't have a limited time of hours they can work on a day. They can work as much as they want. Now I work at home. Everybody's working so many hours. So, I mean, as a truck driver, you're not able to do that. You can't drive as many hours as the clock allows you. It's just, they cut down your hours because they don't want you running off the road. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Now there's not an issue with who is going to develop the truck. That's another thing. You look at Telsa and you look at, Freightliner, Daimler's already producing. Everybody's producing them all. There's not an issue with bringing a truck to the market. That's not an issue. Everybody's sold on the e-trucks already. Look at them. They're amazing. Oh, they can go this fast. Yeah, they got a lot of power. But when you look at the facts, and if you're an actual truck driver and you look at the versatility of fuel, it's no comparison. If you're doing some kind of regional where you're moving trucks from one hub to another, something very short, I can see where an electric truck could be maybe useful. But you think about how long they can run. They're running at 500 miles. Guys, I know guys that do that in a day. Okay, so if you do that in a day and you're like, okay, well then we'll park somewhere and I'll have a charging station. Okay, so that means there's not even enough parking spots. There's not even enough parking spots for every truck at every truck stop. Okay, so how is there going to be enough charging stations and you get your time to get your layover and be able to refuel and keep going? I mean, diesel engines have already zero emissions right now. They're already at zero emissions. Yeah, there's issues with the after-treatment systems, and we're working through that. But now that EPA is actually they're actually starting more restrictions for actual combustion to be even less coming out of the engine. And so what I'm saying is they're going to, instead of it actually going out of the engine, they're still having it going out of the engine, but out of the tailpipe, they expect it to be zero. And I'm talking about NOx and particulate matter and any contaminants going out of the tailpipe. That needs to be zero. Trucks are at zero already, okay? But they're still developing coming out of the engine and then going into an after-treatment system. What the EPA is wanting to do is want to cut down how much emissions is actually coming out of the engine, which is going to help us produce more efficient out of the fuels that we're using. And I really feel like that's going to be where we're already heading that way. You look at truck orders, okay? And we can go on and on. I'm going to try to get back to everybody's comments. I appreciate everybody that's joining us. I'm going to try to get back to everybody's comments here in a second. But I've been holding off on making this video because I wanted to talk a lot about this. But this last conversation that I had with with someone this past over, I think it was about a week ago, and they were so quick to be, hey, oh yeah, they're going to be trucks. Oh yeah, diesel trucks are going to be gone. Okay. Let me say one thing. Guys, if you got a big question, hit me up on Super Chat. Hit me up on Super Chat. We haven't had a live for a little bit. I did regroup with my guys. We did add some more manpower, so we're getting all that in line. That's what I've been focusing more on. And so, guys, if shout out to everybody that's visited us at the shop, and we're adding more guys onto the shop as well. Shout out to all the team members on that. Everybody's doing a fantastic job. We're gonna keep working hard, and we're ready to get into that new shop. Okay, we're really ready to get into that new shop. So everybody that's joining us today, make sure to hit that like button. So here we go. Now we're gonna be talking about the manufacturers right now. Okay, so the manufacturers right now can design a truck and sell a truck. Look at this truck. It's very nice. But who is buying it? they're having to give them away for people to try them out, and that's fine. Okay, the infrastructure is not there. We understand that. Nobody's gonna buy that. Somebody that has a fleet is not gonna go off and buy e-trucks that's running produce from the south up north, or running from the west coast to the east coast. They're not gonna go buy e-trucks. You don't see some. You do see some of the companies that are using the e-trucks are using them very local. And okay, yeah, you're saying, oh, that's going to grow from there, but you don't see it. You don't see it because when you have 500 miles, if a truck can go 500 miles and you're saying, okay, I can do 500 miles, go charge at a station, 500 miles, go charge at a station. There's a lot of times traffic is going to be involved. There's going to a lot of times that there's going to be issues where you're not going to be able to control. Logistics is what I talked about at the beginning. If we build an infrastructure without understanding our logistics, our primary logistics needs, what we're going to end up coming up with is an infrastructure that we're going to have to redesign and waste money, and it's just going to be a waste and more waste. And the main concern, I mean, one of the main concerns is they want to cut down on emissions. Okay. We all agree, and there's a lot of people that agree with that, and some people don't like to agree with this because they feel like there's other parts of the country that aren't contributing as the same as everybody, and they're not following the same rules, so everybody that's understandable. But at the same time, let me know if my mic's too loud, guys. I appreciate everybody's coming on, and everybody hit that like button. If you got a question, hit me up on that super chat if it's working. Man, you guys got a lot of questions here. Let me see if I can get to some of your questions. Just a lot of shout outs here. I covered infrastructure and the battery swaps and how much batteries that would take. Mobile diesel repair shop here in North Carolina. T-Rod, what's up? Here, I got another shot here for the chat screen here. Let me see how this one looks. So this is us shooting. Nah, that's not the one I'm gonna go with here. Probably gonna go back here. Okay, so I got everybody's comments here. That this last one wasn't showing everybody's comments here. Let me go back here. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Sorry about this, guys. Let me get this under control here. All right, we're going to get to those comments here in a little bit. All right, they're all over the place. Bunch of comments. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. Okay, so we talked about the hours of service. We talked about the flexibility of the fuel. Now, let's talk about this, glider kits. Appreciate that, Texas Thunder Transport. Appreciate that comment. Let me see if I can get all these comments back up here, man, because there's tons of comments here. Let me see here. There we go. Get this up over here. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Everybody's got tons of comments here. Wow. Appreciate everybody joining us. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover everybody's comments the more that I'm looking at everybody that's coming in, because I want to cover what the subject is. You know, when I talk about Amazon and how Amazon's I've already taken over so far, and everybody that's already delivering to Amazon can see the headache it is delivering to Amazon. You're stuck in that line. You're there forever. What is Amazon doing about it? I'm going to tell you what they're doing about it. And you can already see it. You can already see it all over in other cities and in smaller suburbs. They're gonna build warehouses in the suburbs, and so that they can utilize the e-trucks. Okay, so there's plans in place. Okay, but Amazon's like, I don't want to just build all these warehouses, and of course I'm just gonna be paying all this money. Of course, more money to the government. So yeah, you know what? I'm in for infrastructure. I'm in for a higher taxation on the rich. You know, it's a play, and I'm not saying it's a bad play. I'm just saying those are plays that are happening that I see that are gonna happen to the transportation industry. But the cooperation that it's gonna take, the waste that it's gonna agree to, that everybody's gonna have to agree to bring all this waste in. Comments, shout outs can wait. I hear you. Getting enough charging stations is going to cost a lot of money. Exactly. This first infrastructure bill that they're proposing is not going to be, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. It's not it will be enough to build, say for example, an infrastructure for internet and whatnot, but now, they want to build an infrastructure to power, push internet further. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. There's a lot of internet that still needs to be out there. I agree with that. Okay, but like I mentioned, we're gonna have an infrastructure that's gonna need to be redesigned and redesigned and redesigned again. So where is diesel gonna be? Where are all these all this e-commerce gonna? Where's all this e-commerce, all this merchandise, all this food? Where is that gonna be waiting for e-trucks to catch up? It's not, so. Okay, so I'm not saying it's ever going to happen. So, but we're so far from it. We're so far from it from now. So how can we even be, when you look at truck orders, I know I talked about manufacturers earlier. Now, bringing a truck to the market is not the issue. That we already talked about that. You look at the orders for current diesel engines right now, they've been maxed out, meaning, past, they can't even fulfill the orders. They can't even fulfill the orders for the past, since right after the pandemic, when the pandemic kind of kicked off, and then it just kind of, just kind of evened out, and everybody kind of got back to work, and transportation kind of got kicking again. Ever since then, the backlog has been tremendous. They have not been able to catch up. The backlogs on the ships, the backlogs at the ports, the backlogs that, if you ask the drivers, they continue. I can guarantee they're continuously working. They're not stop. It's nonstop. So we're going to have to add on rebuilding a power infrastructure. First, agreeing to how the infrastructure is going to be done, rebuilding it, and the time and process that's going to take, the planning that's going to take, the material that's going to take is going to be outrageous. Diesel electric makes more sense to me. Well, diesel. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Even when you look at a diesel engine, if you look at everything that's already been added, everything that has already been added to an diesel engine, when I talk about after treatment, or in regards to after treatment systems, you can still get older engines that are still being used. So even if California starts using their e-trucks in the next 15 years, whenever they have an infrastructure in place, that doesn't mean that diesel engines aren't going to not be used everywhere else. When California was started, hey, you know what? You're not going to be able to run with a truck after this year model. There was trucks still running. There's trucks probably still running in there. I mean, guys, you don't have to say it online. I don't want to get you guys caught. And I'm not saying, hey, they're, lawbreakers, but what I'm saying is diesel engines are still going to be out there. Okay. They're still going to be used. I'm not saying go do that, guys. Don't go on to California. Don't get rid of your after treatment systems. I'm not saying that's the solution. What I'm getting at is diesel engines are still going to be used. Our solution for avoiding after treatment system failures or faults is following a maintenance program. And I sell this to you guys on all the videos. And yeah, I say sell because it's not nothing that's free. It's something that you have to budget for. This is maintenance that's going to be put in that truck to stay ahead of the game. Because I'm going to tell you another thing. When we talk about manufacturers, they can't even finish the orders because they don't even have the equipment. They don't even have the chips. They don't have the inventory to finish the trucks that are on order right now. So what does that do? That spikes even higher orders. Hey, because, and I've read this already, a lot of carriers, big ones, these are big guys that always get trucks, and they're used to getting their trucks on a yearly basis, no questions asked, are having to wait to get their trucks. So what they're doing, and I've mentioned this before, is they're ordering more than they need. They're ordering more trucks than they need. Shout out to everybody that's online with us. Appreciate everybody that's on with us. Heard a bunch of comments. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure everybody hit that like button. Glider kits. Everyone's still bringing glider. Well, they're attacking glider kits. They're attacking glider kits. Sorry, I see all these comments. Great comments. Appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. So back to the manufacturers. The parts, they're on shortage right now. I would say 20% of our work in the shop is being affected by parts. I say 20%. Shout out to all the vendors that's been able to step up and still supply everybody everybody with parts. But you can look at it all day at the manufacturer level. They cannot complete brand new trucks because of it. And as I mentioned, they're ordering an excessive amount of trucks, so that if I can only get half the orders or 3/4 of the orders, I'm still getting trucks. That's outrageous. That's outrageous. So that's just, and the reason why I bring that up is because it's important. It's important to stay up to maintenance on your maintenance of your truck, because you got a shortage on used trucks. You got a shortage on new trucks. E-trucks aren't coming. E-trucks aren't here. The pictures are nice. The articles are nice, but they're not being used. Okay. And I know some of the guys have their issues with after treatment systems. I know you guys are some guys, if you're dealing with shops that are not trained with the after treatment system, it can be troublesome. I see the comments. I see guys with comments about buying trucks from dealers with no check engine lights, but as soon as they leave, within 100 miles or whatnot, they get the check engine lights, and the dealers are acting like, oh, I don't know, it didn't have a check engine light when I drove it around the parking lot and to the back of the building. I mean, guys, listen, just watch the other videos. When you get a chance, watch the other videos. If you're in the market of buying a truck right now, the market is a dirty market, and what I mean by that is there's going to be a lot of trash out there, and it's kind of like the housing market. Everything. You can see how much a lot of cash was in. I know if a lot of guys, if you guys are in the business, there's a lot of cash that was out that got released, and you've noticed an increase on everything, and on everything, and that's across the board. That's not just lumber. That's not just parts. That's not just it's going across the board. You would say inflation on some items. On some items, I would say inflation on a lot of items, and you look at how much cash was just dumped into the economy after. Shout out to Edward West. I appreciate that comment. He says Francisco has great customer service. Francisco Rocha is our store manager there at our location. If you've come by and visit him, you know who we're talking about. Yeah, that's a strong guy. I'm very, very happy to have him on the team. He represents the brand very well. Very, 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 very excited. And as I mentioned, we're adding another technician, and we have another guy in the front office as well that we're going to be working to help get you guys in and out of the shop, how we're going to be flowing through the shop, the new shop. So we're really excited about that. We're waiting on our last green tag. There's a lot of, as I mentioned this morning, I didn't want to give anybody another date. I know if you look at my old videos, I said April 1st. When you're doing a project like this, and this is why I understand why building this electrical grid is going to take centuries if it ever happens, and the amount of money, because the amount of planning that it goes to building something from the ground up, that's going to be always not only focus about what's there, but about what's the future. Like, hey, if somebody builds right here, this needs to be this needs to be that. Should we adjust our labor rate along with the increase of costs? Now, T-Rod, I don't know what your labor rate is. I don't know what your experience is at your shop. So, it's just that's a tough question to ask. I would need to know what type of experience, what type of services you guys offer and stuff like that, and what type of jobs. Do you have road techs or just a shop? We have just a shop for now. We used to do road service. I used to do road service personally, and I was doing road service on a 24-hour basis, and I stopped it because, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping around everybody else's question, but that was just a question I was just kind of covering here that jumped right here. But I was at I was doing a lot of road service, but it can get dangerous, man. The drivers are under a lot of pressure, man. One time a driver ran off the road and it was raining, and I went to go help him, and it was a fuel tanker, and it was early in the morning, and I went over there, and it was muddy. He ran off the highway, came back onto the highway. But when he ran off the highway, he took off signs and broke airlines to his trailer, and it locked his trailer up. So he was dragging his truck in the grass trying to get it back onto the road, and it created like this big mountain of mud in front of the tires, like this big huge tire wedge. So, I was working to help him out, and I was there helping him out, and I was seeing what's going on. And to me, he fell asleep. There wasn't really nothing early. It was real early. I feel like he fell asleep. And I mean, I know that happens, and it looked like he just kind of ran off the road and then came back on the road. But during the repair, I was repairing it, and I was under the truck, and he didn't even wait till I was almost up under the truck. He almost ran me over. So we are very cautious when we do road service. It's going to be to selected work. It's just very tough to do road service because you have, the rush of the driver, the traffic, everything that's going on. And if it's a shutdown engine, something major, that's more than likely is going to need to be towed to a shop, or more safe to be worked on into a shop. But appreciate that question. So we talked about the waste. We talked about, all the planning that it's going to take to do the infrastructure for the electrical grid. That I feel like that's not going to happen. And as I mentioned before, the reason why I feel like that's not going to happen is because all the planning that it's taken, the planning that it will take. Look at the planning that it took to get our shop done. It took tons of planning. We had to plan for a year. Just before we can even start breaking ground. Now that I'm not saying it's not whatever, everybody has a comment about that. There's processes in place, but what I see the bottleneck is at the city when it comes to service and transferring permits and whatnot, or not transferring, but just getting it through the city. And I'm not saying the city's the bad people. They're great people, but there's just so many people building, and especially in these times, there's a lot of people building in these times. Construction workers are working. Shout out to all my construction workers out there. Those guys out there moving all the time. Hybrid diesel engines, one axle driven. I honestly think that hydrogen is going to be the answer, because if you look at, we talked about the EPA's already asking, hey, we're zero emissions out the tailpipe. That's already happening. Now EPA is saying lower emissions out the engine before going into the after-treatment system. Okay, so that means in-cylinder approaches are going to come up next. That's going to have to happen. Okay, they've already have different ways that there is shooting it. I would say it wouldn't be naturally. It has to be it's going to be chemically driven. It's going to have to be chemically driven. And hydrogen, I feel like hydrogen would be the best way. It would be the most cleanest way. It's already proven. And maybe this is why they're leaning more that way. Maybe the EPA was waiting for somebody to come up with this, and then now they're like, hey, now, yeah, go ahead. Now we know you guys can do it. The technology is there. We want you guys doing zero emission out the engines. And once that happens, once zero emission comes out of the engine and we start using hydrogen, it's going to end up cleaning everything, all the soot. If you guys don't follow my Instagram page, follow my Instagram page. I need to get my followers up on my Instagram page. What I'm going to start doing on my Instagram page is we're going to start sharing our repairs throughout the week. So if you guys haven't looked us up, it's just at TAT Express on Instagram. I started uploading the technicians that work for us. If you're watching, we're going to be uploading a lot of what you submit throughout the day. We're going to be uploading that, trying to get as much information out there to you guys. And I want to cover everybody's question as well, but I still wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like this is some really, really useful information that people can use that might have a doubt of where the trucking industry is going to go in the next few years. Man, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. We still need we still need drivers. We still need drivers and trucks. I mean, both. We need trucks and drivers. If you look at what the predators, I would say predatory type recruiting for drivers. Okay, and if you're a driver, guys, don't get too big-headed. Okay, keep your cool, guys. That license is like a badge, man. That's like a police badge. You guys, that can get taken away from you. That can get do not roll coal. Yeah, don't roll coal. I mean, if guys are out here making videos of just pushing out smoke out of there, who's gonna see that? They're gonna see that, and there's gonna be more push on diesel engines to stop. And there's another reason why there's a push on diesel engines to be replaced is because there's not enough truck drivers. Where's the truck drivers at? Where are the truck drivers at? You know, people don't want e-trucks to take over, but they don't want to drive a truck. I mean, truck drivers make money, man. Truck drivers make money. I think coming out of here, at least here in America, they don't do it, but coming out of high school straight to the military, minimum service, minimum years to serve, and then get out and do something else. Get into a trade, and do something else forcefully. I mean, I guess, okay, if you want to say that's go to the military, but you don't have to stay in the military. Okay, I don't want to make it like a social, like whatever they call it. I don't want a CCP over here, whatever that is. I'm not trying to be like that communist, but I'm just saying. I mean, we got to get some stuff done. Yep, hydrogen, but we ain't there. Well, Ryan, look up hydrogen. Hydrogen's happening. Hydrogen's happening already. I'm gonna tell you, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it because I don't want no one that listens to my channel, maybe one of my competitors, but hydrogen's there already, man. Look it up. It's there. It's already cleaning the systems as they run, Ryan. And it's so cheap to add on. It's kind of like adding on an APU. It's there already. It's not cheap. It's about the same as adding on an APU, but it self-cleans the engine as well. You're running hydrogen. It's already happening. It's mobile. It's a mobile system. So it's basically like a tri-pack, if you know what a tri-pack is, or a carrier, any kind of APU that's bolted onto the side of the frame. So this is what these hydrogen systems are. And what they're using is just water. They use water and electricity from the truck to inject the hydrogen into the intake of the truck. And there's just more work that has to be done, because when you mass produce a truck like a diesel, a Detroit, a Cummins, when you mass produce it, you cannot do a tune on it. You can't do a dyno tune or a specific type of custom tune, I should say. You only have a stock tune and the whatever the parameters are set. Those are the only tunes that you're allowed on those. So when you start adding hydrogen, that wasn't developed by the manufacturer. Now, it makes it harder for it to work right. Okay, so but if you have manufacturers designing the engine with hydrogen, then you have another story. But the cooperation is not there. Now we want the cooperation to be there for this infrastructure to happen. For this, I'm not saying an infrastructure bill is not going to happen. I'm not making this political. Guys, I want to make that clear. I'm not making this political at all. This is zero political. This is all facts, or just what I see from experience and what it takes, what it takes for cooperation and what it's going to take. So, man, shout out to everybody that's on here today, man. Everybody is here today. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. Hope you guys are having a good time. Everybody's being safe. Man, there's still so much to cover. There's still so much to cover when we talk about these trucks. So, guys, what I'd like for you to do in the meanwhile, take care of your trucks, okay? Don't push them until the check engine light goes on, okay? We talked about this before. If you have a check engine light and you have an after treatment system, go get it looked at, okay? Because what's happening is if you do have restriction, say you have restriction in your after treatment system, and I'm talking about your DOC or your DPF. Now, if you keep pushing it, but the truck is the sensors are already signaled, hey, you know what, you got a fault here, you need to get this checked, and you keep pushing it, you can cause high temp. So when higher temp starts going into areas where it's not supposed to, then you have breakdowns of material that's not supposed to get at that temperature, or that's getting clogged. So, for example, soot. We talk about soot all the time. Now, Detroit is not even allowing or approving, I would say. They're not even approving a bacon blow. So guys, if you're getting bacon blows, that's not enough anymore. Even if for a Cummins engines, that's not enough anymore. You should get them washed. You should get them washed. And what I would say is get them washed. Have what we've been doing now. If you've come in and visit us, what we've been doing now is swapping them with ones that are ready, just to try to get you ready, just to try to get you up and going. And what I like about hydrogen is going to be cleaning this soot that's going, because it's going to not only make less soot, but it's also going to be cleaning the engine throughout the whole time. So we talked about waste. What other issues did we talk about? I don't want to get too much off the subject. A lot of people that are going to be searching online are going to be looking at e-trucks, and they're going to want to talk about e-trucks. So I want to make sure I'm covering everything. We talked about specs. Did I talk about specs already? I mean, the e-trucks are 500 miles. I think 4 hours to charge. I think 4 or 5 hours to charge. Now, they're timing that probably as soon as you pull the truck up and plug it in, okay? So it takes how much to fuel a truck? How long does it take to fuel a truck? If you were able just to pull up to an empty truck stop and pay at the pump, how long would it take you? I personally don't know that, but I know that it's not 4 hours, okay? So, and we're not factoring the traffic from during high peak hours, whenever truck stops are just peaked and everybody's looking for somewhere to sleep, and you need to get fuel and you're trying to get something to eat as well, and now you want to charge your truck. So it's not going to, the logistics just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like I mentioned, when you start seeing e-cars more and more and more and more being used, then maybe I would say, hey, I would be concerned, but nothing. Not only that. So you look at, we talk back about the logistics again. We talk about the logistics again, the e-cars and the waste. So where is this power going to come from? Let me tell you this. So I've been in my hotel. You have told us he is all. Well, I don't know what that means. Everybody's got some comments here. So appreciate everybody's comments. Hey, so what I was gonna mention is, and I like this new mic. My third time using this mic. I really like this mic. It's really cool. So what I was gonna mention here, we're talking about, we already talked about logistics. We're talking about the e-cars. So say for example, we build the power stations. We got power stations at every truck stop now. Here it is, 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, and I'm just talking. 20 years down the line, we got power stations all in the South. We got power stations. We're ready. Okay, what's gonna power those? What's gonna power the trucks? Okay, we don't have solar in place that's gonna be able to. We don't have the technology to harness the power totally yet. Okay, that still needs to be developed to harness power from solar. Once solar power is harnessed, then we may be able to talk. But harnessed power is not even there. Solar power is like, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's how solar power is. So so we're not able to store it. Okay, what are we going to have to use we're going to have to build more factories, right? We're going to have to build more power plants to make more power to feed the power to these fuel stations, these charging stations. Look what's going to happen then. What are they going to use then? Coal? What are they going to use? Coal? Okay, now we're burning. Now we got more. So we're swapping zero emissions trucks for a million square foot coal burning, or whatever they're using to create energy is going to be fossil fuel burning. It's, we don't have the infrastructure in place. You're from Germany, going to be a trucker in the U.S. Man, look at that, man. This guy, he's 17 years old. Guys, I thank you for making this comment. He's 17 years old, watching from Germany. He wants to be a trucker in the United States. Really appreciate hearing your experience. All zero emissions crap. Hey, you know what? And he's from Germany. They're a lot more stricter over there. They're a lot more stricter over there. If you look at the shops that have to clean DPF filters, they're not even allowed. They have to wear masks. They have to wear goggles. I mean, Europe is strict. And you talking about, we're bitching about I don't mean to cuss, but we're griping about our emissions. Europe is nuts. Shout out to Europe. Shout out to everybody that's out there working. And I'm not nothing against them. They're contributing a lot more than we're doing. I'll tell you that when it comes to cutting down on emissions. And anybody can wash filters here. So going back to this comment, we talk about truck drivers. If we don't want e-trucks, there's a reason why e-trucks are going to be pushed even harder, because not only is it just emissions, it's not just emissions. It's the manpower. There's not enough drivers. There's not enough drivers. There's a lot more people going after tech jobs that are more easier, I guess it would say, online, more online than a truck driver. Nobody wants to be a truck driver. The thing is, being a truck driver is not going to be just, I'm always going to be, okay, you have clocks to stick to now. There's schedules. There's people that actually give you time. Hey, you know what? You work a couple of weeks, you're off. Some people actually like being truck drivers. The time that they get alone, you can't get that if you work from a 9 to 5 and you come home. You're not going to get that alone time. That's not going to happen. That's why a lot of the older guys that were truck drivers are still truck drivers, but that generation is kind of getting already retired. They can't drive anymore. That's a big workforce that's exited, and there's not enough people to replace them. So when you look at a 17-year-old from Germany dreaming to come into the United States to be a truck driver, that says something right there. When you have a lot of middle-aged, or I would say young, that aren't pushing like that, or don't want those type of goals, or they want something easier, or maybe they're waiting on. I don't know. I'm just saying, guys, take a look at this. These are all factors that we need to consider when we talk about e-trucks. If there's enough drivers out there, there might not be a need for e-trucks. I'm not saying, hey, we're going to be able to replace them. They don't have there's not an option right now. If you're a truck driver, you guys understand where I'm coming from. I appreciate everybody. I always want to thank you for all your helpful information. I appreciate that comment. Depends on who you work for. You're hauling $60 an hour, depending on what county. Cheyenne, Maxwell, if you're talking, it depends on, every market is different. Every job is different. Okay. Every shop is different. Okay. My shop is not going to be the same shop as so-and-so's shop down the street. Okay. I try to listen to what you guys tell me as well. We're adding on more men. We're trying to process the work more faster. We're trying to communicate more clearer. Those are things that we look for. The prices, if you're not happy, what I'm getting at, if you're not happy where you're at, there's going to be, and you're a driver and you have a CDL and you got a clean record. When I talked about drivers that have, this is the reason why you want to have a clean driving record. I'm not saying background. You could have felonies and have a clean driving record, if still be able to get a job. I see a lot more leniency happening. I see a lot more leniency that's happening, for hires. Yeah, my nephew making $150 and working from home 9 to 5 IT. How long has he been there? How long has he been at that company? Okay, whenever you say things like this, that's fine. You can make that type of money as a truck driver as well, with no schooling. Okay, with no schooling. How much school did that take him? I'm not saying IT is bad. I never said that. IT, we're going to IT, but the thing is with IT, and the only thing that I look at with IT is it's the way that it's replaced. I don't really like the way it's replaced. It's kind of like, if it's too expensive here, we're able to replace it by outsourcing it in an area that's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So how do you do that with a driver? How can you do that? So you said 10 years. He's been there for 10 years to get there. That takes time. You don't need that for a truck driver. As a truck driver, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need 10 years to make 150K. You can make it well within 10 years. Well within 10 years. Look at what a lot of the major carriers are hiring at right now. Look at that. I mean, I've been trying to recruit some of the carriers to sponsor my channel. You know, at least one of these videos. That would just help them, you know. But just for them to, and I've only reached out to one carrier to get with you, and this was out of the blue, and it wasn't a big carrier. It was actually just a test. But the person didn't even know what YouTube was. It's like, oh, I got a YouTube channel. Okay. Well, I was just kind of look who's watching. A lot of drivers, a lot of people trying to come in. You know, people trying to come in and work. There's nothing wrong with being a truck driver. I know companies, personally, that bring in drivers from legally, of course, just to live in a truck and drive. Now, I'm not saying that's the best for the market when it comes to rates, because we know what that does. But at this point, there's so much excess, rates shouldn't matter. You should be able to turn down loads if it's not paying you enough money. And this is if you're running under your own authority. Now, if you're running with a company, that's something else. You should discuss your rates with them. If you hadn't had an increase in rates as a driver, you know, we're talking strictly drivers, guys. A lot of drivers left the field. But drivers are in high demand, guys. That's not going anywhere. So, guys, I appreciate everybody's support. This is a really good live. I'm honestly, I like this live. I know I talked some in my other lives that we were going to do 7 p.m.s and in the evening when everybody's at home. But I'm telling you, after a full day of work, from whether calls, looking over this, talking, helping out with this, it's exhausting to be on a mic for over an hour talking about a subject. So, apologize for not being on board, but the plans that we have, once we're in a new building with the new recordings, we're going to be having some more hands-on work that we're going to be recording. But don't be let down, guys. There's a lot of people that get stuff from this type of videos as well. So this is why I want to continue to do these type of videos. Talk about this type of subjects that are important. I see a lot of information I see some videos of people that are buying trucks, and I think to myself, why I wonder if they looked at any of my videos, at least on, I know the hour-long buying a used truck is kind of like this. I'm trying to stay more on the subject, but the DOT videos, the after-treatment videos, maybe I should organize them a little bit more, because what I understand is, if you buy a truck and you don't properly check it out before you buy it, and you have an after-treatment problem, they're not going to, whoever you buy it from is going to say that's your problem. They want to get rid of it. They don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm not saying this doesn't mean every truck with an after-treatment system is a problem. This just means that any used trucks right now, the information that I'm giving you are facts. We're talking about trucks being back ordered from the dealers, from the manufacturers. What does that do? What does that do for a used truck market? Just think about that. If the demand is high, why would there be even any good trucks out there to buy used? If the demand is so high, that should make looking for a truck even that more important, that more crucial before the buy. I'm not saying I am not even in the truck market right now. I'm not in the truck market. I don't buy trucks, but I can tell you right now, just from being in this industry for this long, I can tell you the market is a dirty market. I would be very cautious on buying used trucks right now. Put your time into checking them out. Don't get into a headache. Appreciate. Said Germany, let's make truck in the future. I don't know why they held that back. Home by 5 p.m. every day. You're a truck driver. See, they said they're home by 5 every day. Tons of comments. Appreciate everybody joining us. Make sure to hit that like button. If you guys hadn't hit that like button, hit that like button. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Tons of comments, guys. Guys, follow my Instagram channel or my Instagram page channel. You can tell I'm not always on Instagram. So follow my Instagram channel again with the channel page. We're going to be sharing a lot of repairs throughout the week. So check it out. I'm going to try to get to some of these comments here. Let's see here. Let's see. I'll switch to this video here. Let me see how this looks. All right. Let's see how this looks here. Okay, so I've got with Ryan. He's got a few comments here at the top already. I already talked to him about that. I'm a single owner, kind of worried about the future. I hope I was able to get you settled with that with that information there. This is straight information. How is work going? Is work slow for you, or why would you worry about it? Is it something? What are you running? Look at what you're running. Might be something. Maybe if you're only running regional, you might want to stretch out. Hey, if you could run solar panels on the top of your trailers and get fuel from, okay, maybe in the Jetson future. I'm not saying our future is not there. If you looked at some of my old videos, I'm upset about us not being up to par with. I'm upset with us not being up to par with technology. Man, we're way behind on technology, super behind. And it's crazy if you guys look at like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is he's pretty invested in the future, and he's got the Neuralink already going on. If you guys don't know what Neuralink is, it's something it's a microchip, so that you don't have to touch things. And they're doing this they're testing it with monkeys. It's crazy. It's like, at first I'm like, a microchip in your brain? Heck no. But when I think about holding a phone, and I like when I don't want to hold a phone no more. Like I feel like this holding, keeping a hand or tying up one of your hands is just, I just feel like so cumbersome. It feels like something can happen. I feel like that's pretty cool. We would need to build a nuclear reactor to power a single truck stop. Wow. Yeah. Or just a power station, period, at a truck stop. Imagine how much coal. It would be a coal mine right there. It wouldn't happen. If they maybe did DC, if they built a DC grid that converted to AC, maybe, but the amount of copper, the amount of metal, the amount of material that it would take to have to build that type of network, would be nuts. It would be nuts. I don't even think they could. That's why AC is so much cheaper. I know DC is DC is what the truck is running off of, though. That's why I say DC. That's the power that the truck is direct current. We're talking about direct current. Now, if we build a direct current network that can, boom that much power to each station, but the amount of copper would be outrageous. It'd probably be the size of a trailer of copper. I don't think they would invest that much. And maybe I'm exaggerating, but I'm just, I'm looking at buses. And when I'm talking about buses, I'm talking about copper buses that supply power to a building. The copper on them is about this, is just like this. It's a copper bar that come into a building, and not my building, because my building doesn't run a lot of power things. But I'm talking about like a large commercial building, big power, big brick, or big thick brick. Make sure you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me? Get these comments down here. Where does the service literature advise? All right. Too much. I was just making sure. I was jumping up to make sure you guys can hear me. Trying to get to all these comments. Tons of comments here. On the glider kits, they're already attacking the glider kits. That's going to be extinct. I don't know if you saw that already. They've already been attacking them. But a quick question. I have a 2016 M2, loss of power, data link. I can scan for codes. Can you help me out? Well, if you had some codes, I could probably, explain maybe, but if you're having some problems, this is going out to the guy with the M2 problem. Check your battery connections. How long have you been running that truck? If you get familiar with the truck, check your battery connections. if you're getting low power or something like that, low current to a sensor, you could have a loss of communication there. So check that out. All of them truck stops, pilots, loves, TAs would have to charge charging stations. Oh yeah, I already went that one. Oh man, $10. All right, here we go. We got a super chat. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna read it over here, Ricky, because I don't know where it popped up on this screen over here. Where did it pop up? Did it pop up over here? Oh, there it is. I'm for the change to electric if it saves money on maintenance and cuts my expenses from fuel. Clean rebates in thousands for buying electric. They're gonna give you clean buy-in. They're gonna give you clean buy-in. They want you to buy it. You know, I mean, heck, the manufacturers can't sell it. They can't sell them. I mean, the thing is I'm not saying electric trucks is not going to happen. I know it costs money to maintain these trucks. I know it costs money. If you look at if you break down your P&L, and when I say that, let me come over here. If you break down a P&L, which is a profit and loss statement, if you break down that on what your truck is and you track that for a year, track it for a year and really track it and see where's your money going. And you're right, it's going to be going to it's going to go to three of the top things. I would say four of the top things. Sorry. One thing is going to be fuel. Going to be maintenance is the second thing. Insurance. And I want to say you want to pay yourself, but if you have a driver, the driver's going to be next. So maintenance is up there right next to fuel. It's unavoidable. That's why when and electric trucks is just not the option right now. I know they're giving you a rebate, but it's just it's not an option right now. There's no charging station. I mean, where are you going to charge the truck at? Unless it fits your needs. Like, I don't know if this is an e-truck or not. I don't think it is. It looks like it's still got a passenger. I just grabbed this image. But even if you're an e-truck would only work for somebody that has a charging station for one thing, or a place to charge it when they park it, and is only going to be able to do that at a 500-mile radius or 500-mile radius, and they're going to have to stop and do that check or do that charge. And if you're running out of you can't even run out of a 500-mile radius. If you did, then you would be considered under using hours of service. Then you would have to use hours of service. So then how can it happen? Ricky, I'm not saying e-trucks. I'm against e-trucks. I never said that. I'm never saying, hey, I'm against e-trucks. I'm just saying it's not going to replace diesel engines. Not right now. Not anytime soon. I would say it would take a couple decades at least if we even move in the right direction. I mean, it's back and forth. It depends on who's in office, what direction we go, right? So that's where I base my decisions on, or my opinion on. I guess this is all opinions. These opinions when it comes to will it replace? I mean, the facts are it's not yet. The facts are we don't have the grid up yet. So what are we going to do? There's still a lot of work ahead of us. I appreciate that. Appreciate that super chat. Thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that. Got your super chat, Ricky. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. Make sure to hit that like button. All right, let me try to catch up where I was. Appreciate that super chat. Love the channel. That's the Germany guy. Gonna come take American jobs. Come do them. If the Americans aren't gonna do it, come do them. Nothing wrong with that. Electric trucks will work in a niche circumstance. Yep, like I said, just like CNG. Exactly. It won't come close to completely replacing diesel. Yep. Thanks for that comment. You're right. With CNG, it was the same thing. With CNG, when CNG first come out, they were like, oh, CNG is going to replace diesel. It's going to replace diesel. Diesel, it's the end of diesel. Go get your CNG, start learning how to work on CNGs. If not, you're going to be left behind. That didn't work. I mean, I was behind CNG as well. I don't know why hydrogen. Here it goes. In the next comment says it right here. Somebody is going to come up with better hydrogen. There's the thing is, BM or M Bell, I'm going to tell you something. Since I've started this channel, a lot of people have reached out to me, and it's funny because I saw a comment the other day, and it was like, man, if I was a truck, if I couldn't be your relative or something like that, I'd be calling you 2-3 times a day. And I'm sorry if I can't get back to everybody's comment or everybody's call, or everybody's email, but I am trying to build a system to get you guys service when you need it, or if you need it. If you're gonna come in, that's what I'm working on, and that's what I always worked on. So in building this channel, a lot of people have reached out to me. One is a hydrogen company, and it's not a company. I would take that back. It's an inventor that I've already done. He's already proven it. It's already been proven. Hydrogen technology has been proven already. Okay, so I talked to him. Okay, so what's the big deal? Why can't you get it done? Why? The thing, what we don't understand, and we see it, but we ignore it, is the bureaucracy. And like I said, this is not political channel. I'm not about politics. This is why I talk about cooperation and what it takes to get things done through cooperation. So if we're going to build a mass infrastructure network that's supposed to power trucks and at every truck stop and replace diesel engines, they better come up with a plan, and that plan is not going to happen within a year or 2 years or 3 years. That is something huge. So what do we do in the meanwhile? The manufacturers are still making diesel engines. They haven't stopped making diesel engines. They're still making diesel engines now. They can't even fill diesel engine orders. Somebody's going to come up with, okay, what was a good look for infrastructure for their first forgot about trucks, charging stations, etc. Yep. Yep, you're right. Everyone knows the current electrical situation is just patched together from development. That's why when you look at our current infrastructure and how it was patched together and how they changed this and changed that and had to do this is why I feel like, for whatever reasons, probably political driven, just to get it done, they're gonna just get something rolled out. And then when it's rolled out, they're going to be like, you know what? This is not working out how we needed it. We're going to have to either add this or add that. It's just going to wait. We're going to have to wait. And then this is kind of, you're going to need charge stations or an extra battery. Battery swapping is not an option. Half the truck is a battery. You would have to swap a whole truck. So that means buying more trucks, more waste, more batteries, more material. Of course, e-trucks will replace diesel-powered trucks, only a matter of time. Well, if you consider everything I've mentioned, that's going to be a lot of time. Any idea about glider kits? I brought those up. They're attacking those already. I mean, when I say they are, I mean, I'm not, hey, you know what, pro this, pro that. I'm just saying that each glider kits is that's kind of like just going online and saying, hey, come delete your engine with me. I mean, eventually they're going to catch on. I mean, basically a glider is get in a brand new chassis and put in a non-emissions truck in it, a non-emissions engine in it. Where are you going to get the non-emissions engine? Okay. The thing is, not only are non-emissions engines hard to get a reliable one or a good one because it's been rebuilt 20 times, maybe more, because they're just not manufactured anymore. They stopped manufactured since, I want to say 2008, I think, is when they stopped manufacturing non-emissions engines. No, before that. I want to say 2007, way before that. Non-emissions was, and I'm only talking 60 series. Non-emissions was, I would say before 07. Before 07, because 03 and 04 is really when they just started bolting things on. But they really stopped making the hard components, like the blocks, the heads of the non-emission engines when we're talking about 60 series or M14 Cummins. Anything that's non-emissions. I mean, you just can't find quality parts anymore on those. So, and with the amount of workload that's going on nowadays, it's just tough. It's very tough. With a 60 series, and I'm strictly talking 60 series. And when I'm only talking 60 series, because most 60 series are what seeked 14 liter 60 series non-EGR and a glider kit. Those engines have, if you get one that's already rebuilt, it's more than likely been rebuilt 2 or 3 times. And it's not because of the quality that wasn't there or the shop didn't know what they were doing. It's just the parts. They weren't manufactured anymore. They stopped manufacturing them. Come on, man. Let's hear it. Oh, that was probably earlier, huh? Getting enough charging stations is going to be a cost. And the reason why I keep losing my spot on the comments, and I don't want to start from the bottom and back and up to the top because I've already skipped around. Right now, they're borrowing money from the rich with interest. Well, a lot of people they're just leveraging. They're leveraging a lot of it. It's being leveraged. Should donate a few bucks if they want their comment questions answered. I mean, I'm going over what you guys. If you guys want to hit me up on a super chat, I would appreciate that. It would be nice. But I want to just kind of cover some content that I didn't. Some of you guys that made some comments, I didn't want to make sure I don't overlook anybody. Engine, you run all over the miles on the engine. Loyal customers, due west transport, still waiting to meet you. One day we're going to meet, man. Appreciate that, Edward. A month old. You all have miles on the trucks. See, this is why I don't like jumping around, because I know you guys are all commenting down here. What's the new stuff? What are y'all talking about now? Tesla semis, 2,500 pounds. If you're talking about Tesla semis, the markets, there's not an issue of I never said an e-truck is not going to be developed. An e-truck has been developed. They are developed. It's happening. Local work. Truck stop. Tesla is starting their e-trucks can charge enough for 400 miles in 30 minutes. I didn't see that. That's new on the Tesla truck. That's new. 30 minutes for 400 miles. That's nice. I'd like for more specs. Yeah, I appreciate that. He's talking about hit that like button. He's saying here that e-trucks were charging at 400 miles in 30 minutes on e-trucks for a Tesla, but excuse me, sorry about that. I haven't seen that. Sorry, I've been online. Probably gonna wrap this up here. I don't see how they can pull 80K up a mountain. No, they can't. 11 plus hours daily. They can't. It's not gonna happen. E-car batteries are gonna dead after 5 years and cost upwards of 50K. I know it's gonna be such a waste. It's going to be such a mess, man. I wish we could focus all on focus on one objective and just try to get that done. But it's like everybody's just coming up with all their own ideas and everybody's this and that. And like, for example, I know I went off subject on this hydrogen guy that contacted me, and he's already developed. And I'm like, okay, what happened? Okay, well, I need to get it licensed over here so they'll look at it. Okay, so why don't you do that? Oh, that's going to be $300K to get this done. And I'm like, okay, so why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? It's a little bit confusing to me. I would like to test it myself. I'm curious myself. I would like to test it myself. But what I see is it does clean engines. It does work. And it makes sense. It's kind of like if you look at race cars, for example, they start using chemicals and injecting inside the intake to make more horsepower. And with hydrogen, yeah, it's combustible, and it's not going to be like you're holding a whole hydrogen tank with you. So it makes sense. Maybe the manufacturer should do some tuning, some testing, and tweak it. But like I said, with everybody in so many different directions, it's hard to accomplish things. It's hard to get things accomplished. Architecture can dry 16 hours and 4 hours in between up to. So we're talking about hours of service. You know, there's a lot of people don't know hours of service. They think, oh, e-trucks are going to replace drivers. They don't even know hours of service. I mean, it wouldn't be e-trucks replace drivers. It would be and that's a whole nother topic. And you know, they don't even have self-driving cars right, and they barely let us handle these trucks safely. I mean, they're not even, you know, policing that. I don't feel like they're policing it. So this is why I say, guys, if you have a CDL, man, hold that up like a police badge. You guys gotta be the example of safety, the prime example of highway safety. You know, practice the following distance. Don't forget about that. I mean, I see guys always tailgating other cars, and especially if you're out of town and you're seeing people slow down, you may not be you may not know that freeway. You may not know that freeway merges with another freeway at that point, and here you are trying to get in the hammer lane because you don't want to slow down. You don't want to follow following distance. You know, I understand that. I understand we're all being pushed. We all got deadlines. I always have to meet everybody's deadlines, or try to meet everybody's deadlines, or we work to meet everybody's deadlines, but in a safe way. So drivers, in the same way, you're a driver. Lead by example. Lead by example when it comes to safety. I mean, that's a given. Should be a given. Hauling organs nonstop. I bet. I mean, when you look at other countries doing organ, what do they call it? Harvesting. I can imagine what a lung would go for right now, or a heart, or anything. Shit, any organ. Wouldn't even put it on my driver's license that I'm an organ donor. Hopefully I don't offend nobody with that, but I'm just saying. Brandon Walker, exactly. Per in the sky. Don't understand that, but appreciate that comment. What about biodiesel? Biodiesel, I feel like it's a little bit more messy. I feel like biodiesel is a little bit messier. Yeah, it doesn't cause as much pollutants, but it just causes a lot of resin. Is from what I haven't really dove into biodiesel, but guys, I might be wrapping this up here but this comments, that's what I'm saying. South Carolina, LA diesel, within LA electric trucks. That's FedEx, UPS diesel. Well, I mean, so Ryan made a comment about larger carriers coming up with a solution. And when you look at what's happening, like as I mentioned, warehouses that are getting built in the suburbs. When you look at warehouses being built in the suburbs, and then they're going to end up being Amazon warehouses. So what they're going to end up doing, they'll put the mega warehouses on the outside, you know, in the commercial areas. So that's where all the stuff is coming in from out of state. Then they break it down, send it to the smaller warehouses, or if the in suburb warehouses are big enough for truck access, which is more than likely what is going to be the case, they're bringing it right in there, and they can use e-trucks to deliver the small stuff. But that's still a lot of cooperation, a lot of even if somebody would come in as an outside investor and said, "Hey, I want to build a warehouse with a trucks with a charging station on it." Once you do the planning and the power needs, they're gonna say, "Hey, can't be done. You're gonna have to build a like the last comment said. You're gonna have to build a power plant as well in your plans. So include that in your plans as well, which is gonna have to get approved." So that is gonna be something to consider. Good comments. A lot of people on here. A lot of money. It will cost a lot of money. So here's a comment by Simba. E-trucks will replace diesel trucks, and many diesel technicians need to understand and learn about basic electric motor and okay. So learning electric motors. I'm not saying we shouldn't as a diesel technician. I'm not saying I'm not as a diesel technician, but what I'm telling you is what we in every shop in the United States is working and servicing or as a technician is diesel engines. Even the trucks that are out there, the e-trucks, you know, where are they getting serviced at? They're either going to get serviced right back at the manufacturer because everything's going to still go back to the manufacturer. They're still trying to test this out. It's like full blown yet. So unless you're working close to a manufacturer, yeah, an e-truck will be a solution. As for the technicians for learning electrical motors, I don't really feel like this is going to be that big of an issue when it does happen. I feel like all the powertrain stuff is going to be the same. You know, the clutches, the transmissions, the gear the drivetrain, all that's going to be the same. I do see where they're putting the motors. They're putting them actually on the differentials themselves to drive. So I see the different setups. But as I mentioned, I don't get trucks. I don't get electric truck. I don't get calls. Hey, I got an electric truck down. Can you come help us out? Or can you look at my electric truck? We don't get calls. I'm pretty sure because we're not set up as an electric truck. But even I don't think I've even seen an electric truck in Dallas. To be honest with you, Texas, I haven't seen one. Or if they are, they're mostly at the dealer, or I haven't seen one commonly being used, I should say. DPFs gives me a hard time. Can't deal with it no more. 42K produced depart truck, 22 Laredo to Boston. So if you're upset about your after treatment system, you know, the after treatment systems can be problematic. I've never said they couldn't be problematic, but not knowing more information about what's going on with your system is kind of hard. This is why I always, let you, I always just suggest that you guys, I recommend you guys follow the maintenance, follow your maintenance. Don't skip out on your maintenance, because once that check engine light goes on and you keep pushing it, or whoever owned that truck before, whoever was owned it before you keeps pushing it, is going to end up passing that problem over to you. So think about that. So he talked about swapping batteries, change batteries. Yeah, we talked about that. If you look at a battery setup on a truck, on a new truck, or on an e-truck, it's the whole truck is pretty much batteries. So it's kind of like saying swap the motor out at a truck stop whenever you get there. You know, it's not going to be that easy. I'm not saying it's not doable. You know, yeah, you go to a truck stop, you can swap your engine out. It's doable, but doesn't make sense. I'm going to open a portable charging station. There you go, Joseph. How are you going to produce the power, man? Where are you going to get all the battery connections? Where are you going to get the connects to hook up the truck? Where are we going to find the hardware at? Oh, he says, hello, I got a question. It says, I got an issue with my Cummins engine. The truck is at the dealer. No one can find the problem. It's grinding noise coming from the engine left side, and the truck is a month old. You know, Arthur, if it's something, more than likely it's manufacturer defect, sounds like, if it's that new and already having an issue and the dealer can't figure it out. To me, that sounds like a manufacturer error. Guys, if hit that super chat if you want to get your question highlighted, because I'm about to end this here in about 10 more minutes. I'm couldn't believe the time went by so fast. Appreciate that one super chat. I did appreciate that very much. Everybody that's joined us today, I'm looking down here at everybody. Just everybody. Here's a super chat. Just trying to look at all the analytics on the channel. But let me get back. Okay, so guys, if you hit me up on a super chat, follow us on Instagram, as I mentioned before. I'm going to be more constantly uploading pictures of what we got going on in the shop. I got some more pictures I want to upload today of what happened throughout the week. Got some cool photos on there. After treatment is the killer of diesel engines. It doesn't help it. It doesn't help it. Here we go. Super chat. What we got? For E10 speed, any suggestions on where to buy the def and trans oil and what brand to use? Okay, what I would suggest you to do on a Eaton Fuller is what you can, the information, JJ, if you got access, of course you have access to the internet, look up Eaton Fuller online, and you can look up that actual transmission, and you can get the brochure, you can get the specs, everything. But you're going to use, if you don't have an oil cooler, you're going to use 50 synthetic, 50W synthetic. If you don't have if you don't have an external transmission cooler. So, but what I would do for sure, because there's so many models, there's so many 10-speed Eaton Fuller transmissions. There's so many 10 speeds. Look up on the tag. The tag's gonna have the serial number. Look up Eaton Fuller online. Punch in your serial number in there. You're gonna be able to look up literature on demand as well. You can look up that literature on demand, and that's going to give you exactly your specs. It might take you a little time. Let me see. If you got a serial number, I might be able to help you out. You know, I appreciate the super chat. But without a serial number, Eaton Fuller, pretty much all their transmissions are 10-speed. For a big portion of them are 10 speeds. So it just depends on what year and what model. I would say most of them take the 50 sync. But I would definitely check that serial number tag, and then go on EatonFuller.com, and then you can look up their literature on demand department. And this is all free stuff online. With your serial number, you can, it's going to ask you to go, to drivetrain, go to transmission, select from transmission. And then once you have your actual number, you'll be able to find one of the manuals that covers that specific or a group of transmissions, and you just look for that serial number. It's a little bit of tedious work, guys, but this is what technicians do. This is what we do. This is why we have access. Some of the literature is not free. A lot of literature you have to pay for. But yeah, that's pretty much what technicians do, man. We look up information. And then that's how because if you say, hey, you know what, I did make the comment about a 50 sync, and I know that, but if you're not too specific, then I don't want to give you the wrong information there. It's not flashing. Okay, what do we got going on here? Let me try to get back to my where I was. Here we go. Old trucks had to be updated, and new equipment costing more than a new truck. You're right. I mean, we do see prices going up. I mean, the amount of money that got injected into the economy didn't help as well. That's going to be a lot more money going in to the economy as well, or that went in. I have a glider and want nothing to do with a newer truck. Yeah, I mean, if you can get away with gliders, go ahead. I mean, I don't know what the glider market looks like, so I don't know what the availability on glider trucks are, but appreciate that. Sorry for clearing my throat here on the mic. I just been on here talking for we're about an hour and a half now, but good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad everybody joined me today. I'm glad I decided to go on live here. A lot of questions. I don't think I'm going to get to everybody's questions. I think I'm going to go ahead and probably wrap this one up. I appreciate everybody that joined us today. This is a good question from here goes. The huge issue is a lack of good technicians. Everyone is hiring and looking. I believe the pay and incentives need to be better for technicians than they are that are good. I agree with that, T-Rod. We're continuously recruiting. I mean, if you guys are interested, if you're interested with for positions with us, give us a shout. I mean, you're right. I agree 100% with your comment. Yes, it's about 2,500 miles. I'll say 25,000 miles only. And Arthur was answering, I guess he was answering me from earlier when I asked him. And it's kind of difficult because I know it's not like instant. So this is why I like the super chat as well. Try to hold it a little bit more highlighted. Folks who thinks it's hydrogen bomb, don't understand technology. Preach, bro. Appreciate that comment. People who roll coal are the reasons why Karens are so upset at diesels. Yep. Well, I mean, you still have the events. They still have, and I'm not against anybody that likes those events. But I mean, for the guys that are making money off driving trucks, yeah, it's a little annoying whenever you have somebody that doesn't drive for a living, use driving for a living as their main income, and they're out here, looking, just putting even a badder image on diesel engines. You're right when he talks about don't roll coal, but don't wash them. You just put them in the mud. So GC, you got a question? What's up, GC? You got a question here? I'm trying to catch up to your question here. Got a lot here. I don't know why this comment was held for review. But, man, you know what? I think I'm going to wrap it up. Excuse me, the kid. Man, I wish I could get back to all these comments, guys. Let me come back over here. I wish I could get back to everybody's comments, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just roll this. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. I covered pretty much what I wanted to cover about e-trucks. I hope you guys were able to use this information and help you make your decision whether or not either you're going to continue to grow in the trucking industry, which I suggest is going to continue to grow and not go anywhere. If anything, they're going to start building more ways to bring more ships inside faster than they can now. They can't bring enough ships in right now. They can't bring them in fast enough. The ports aren't built up enough. So that's just something to consider. Just checking out your last comments there. I wish I could get back to everybody's comments as well, but as I mentioned, we talked about this. We went over a couple comments. It sucks to leave all these comments like this, but until next time, guys, I think we're going to probably shoot again next Sunday. I like this hour. Everybody's still coming on. Got a lot of good feedback. I'm going to go through this, go through these questions here later. Guys, I appreciate everybody's time. I'm glad you guys joined us, and probably going to go back live again next week on Sunday. We have a bunch of content that we're working on, but as I mentioned, I've been spending most of our time just kind of working on the processes, making sure everybody's got some clean communication when they're coming in. So if you want to visit us, give us a call at 972-225-3017, or you can schedule an appointment online at tatexpressinc.com. If you're interested in joining the team, you can also join us or apply there on our careers page. So check out our careers page. You got our phone number. Guys, we've already, it's 4/11, so it's April 11, 2021 right now. We are still in our old building, okay? So you guys that are following me, we are still in our old building. Virtually, we've moved. So on Google, you can see us at our new location, but we're not at our new location just about yet. We got one more inspection next week and the final inspection in about another week after landscaping is done. So Once that's completed, I'm going to keep you guys updated. We're super excited about getting into that shop. So that's really where I've been focusing on lately. So that's why you don't see too much of my content right now. Just trying to get everybody prepared. We're trying to get prepared for this move, and I want to be ready once we're in this new location to be able to just process everybody like as what they're looking for. You know, I don't want to hold your truck up. That's not what we want to do, guys. So we will talk next time. I appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate the super chat, JJ, Ricky. Appreciate everybody's super chat. Make sure to share this content, guys. If you got anybody that's in this industry, it's a truck driver or maybe a technician or looking to be a technician, share my content with them. Let's get the subscribers up. Follow us on Instagram. I'm going to be, as I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing some more stuff on Instagram. And until next time, guys,